Look closely enough at history, and a pattern begins to emerge. Kings fall, empires crumble, governments rise and vanish. But behind them, behind every regime, every dynasty, there are names that never disappear. You've heard of royal families, banking dynasties, secret societies. But there's another lineage, one almost no one speaks of publicly. They call themselves the Aurelian line, a bloodline whispered about in obscure Vatican archives, referenced in declassified CIA field notes, and encoded in medieval alchemical manuscripts under one recurring symbol: a golden iris burning inside a triangle of light. According to fragments pieced together from 17th century court documents and post-war intelligence memos, the Aurelian line traces its ancestry not to gods or kings, but to something far older. A race of light-born beings said to have descended not from heaven, but from a star, one specific star that terrified early astronomers, Alnilam, the heart of Orion's belt. The first confirmed mention of them appears in a sealed Vatican codex dated 1213. It describes a noble family in southern France who claimed to guard the flame of the dawn, a relic said to contain living light, neither divine nor demonic, but conscious. Those who protected it were said to be touched by radiance, their eyes reflecting light even in total darkness. Centuries later, during the Inquisition, references to these Aurelians disappear entirely. The Church labeled them lux inversus, inverted light, a heresy punishable by death. Yet quietly, bishops and cardinals continued corresponding with Aurelian descendants. Many of those letters survive, buried in the private archives of the Jesuit Curia. Fast forward to 1947. In the chaos of post-war Europe, a classified OSS report mentions a secret transfer of hermetic relics from the ruins of a German monastery to a facility in Switzerland operated by the newly formed CIA's Psychological Strategy Board. Among the listed items, a glass vessel sealed in mercury labeled Or. Gen V. No one ever publicly acknowledged what was inside. But declassified margins, handwritten notes by an analyst named Howard Bristow, include one chilling line. Subject contains photonic residue not of terrestrial origin. Genetic correspondence with subjects of the Aurelian pattern, 99.8% match. If those documents are real, they suggest that the Aurelians weren't myth. They were biological, and their blood carried something measurable. Over the next decades, every trace of the family vanished again. No birth records, no estates, no legal titles. And yet somehow every major global institution, banking, defense, medicine, media, contains at least one executive with traceable Aurelian ancestry. A coincidence, maybe. But when intelligence agencies start classifying genealogy, it usually means the line still matters. To understand how a medieval legend about glowing blood became a 20th century intelligence obsession, you have to start with a file buried deep in the CIA's declassified archives. It's labeled Project LUMEN, dated 1953. The summary reads, ongoing collaboration with ecclesiastical and academic partners in psychophysical illumination phenomena. Most of the document is redacted, but one page remains intact. It mentions an Aurelian strain identified in several subjects of European descent and notes that the manifestation resembles possession, but with measurable bioluminescent output. It sounds insane until you read the accompanying field report from an Air Force liaison in Rome. Subject 7A exhibited the same traits described in 13th century inquisitorial records: elevated body temperature, photic emissions through the eyes, and glossolalia in an unclassified Sumerian dialect. In plain English, The subject glowed and spoke an ancient language no one should have known. That's when demonology entered the picture. Langley brought in an unlikely consultant, Father Thomas Carney, a Jesuit theologian who'd spent years cataloging Vatican exorcism transcripts. Kearney's conclusion stunned the analysts. He claimed the Aurelians weren't possessed by demons, they were the hosts designed to contain them. According to him, the bloodline had been engineered by a pre-Christian cult to imprison something called lux tenebris, the light of darkness, a form of consciousness that could speak through human vessels. If that were true, Project LUMEN wasn't about religion at all, it was containment. In 1954, the agency moved operations to a facility outside Heidelberg under a new front name, Helios Protocol. Surviving technicians later described underground rooms lined with mirrors and salt, a cross between a laboratory and an exorcist's chapel. Each subject was wired to EEG machines, while priests recited Latin incantations. Whenever the prayers began, the heart monitors spiked, as if two minds were fighting for the same body. Carney warned them that the rituals were never meant to expel the entity, they were designed to keep it asleep. But the CIA wasn't in the business of obedience to the church. They wanted to weaponize it. One memo from director Alan Dulles himself, now heavily redacted, states, "If harnessed, the L-source could revolutionize psychological operations. Imagine agents capable of projecting faith, fear, or obedience at will." They called it divine influence research. Kearney called it blasphemy. And in 1956, he disappeared during a test in Chamber 3. The official story said cardiac arrest. The unredacted margin note tells another, light event, room sealed. The disappearance of Father Carney marked a turning point in Project LUMEN as the CIA delved deeper into the occult. It became clear that they were dealing with forces far beyond their understanding. The agency's top-secret documents reveal their struggle to control and weaponize these supernatural abilities. One such document, labeled Subject 11B, details an experiment involving a subject who possessed the ability to induce fear in others through physical contact. The report notes that during the test, the subject's skin glowed with a blue-green light and emitted a high-pitched whine. As he touched each individual on the panel, they experienced intense terror, with some even suffering hallucinations or convulsions. Despite these alarming results, the agency continued its research, driven by the belief that they could harness these powers for their own purposes. They recruited more subjects, subjected them to increasingly dangerous experiments, and attempted to control their abilities through various methods, including drugs, hypnosis, and electronic stimulation. But there was a darker side to Project LUMEN, as the documents reveal. Some within the agency saw these supernatural beings not as tools to be controlled, but rather as threats that needed to be eliminated. There were discussions about using subjects like 11B against each other in a twisted game of survival, with no regard for the human lives involved. In the end, Project LUMEN was shut down amidst scandal and controversy. The files remain classified to this day, hidden away in secret vaults around the world. But the legacy of the Aurelian bloodline lives on, a haunting reminder of the dangers that lurk in the shadows of power. Project LUMEN's closure did little to quell concerns about the Aurelian bloodline and its potential for abuse. In the decades that followed, rumors circulated within certain circles of the intelligence community about a secret cabal dedicated to preserving and manipulating these supernatural abilities. The most disturbing of these stories centered around a shadowy organization known as the Order of the Golden Triangle. This group was said to have infiltrated governments, corporations, and even religious institutions, using its members with Aurelian ancestry as tools for control and domination. To combat this threat, a coalition of international agencies formed what would become known as the Last Defense Initiative. Its mission: to identify and neutralize any individuals or groups seeking to exploit the powers of the Aurelians for personal gain. Their efforts were meticulous and secretive, involving everything from genetic profiling of high-ranking officials to surveillance of suspected cult activity in remote locations around the world. They even developed advanced technologies designed to detect signs of possession or other supernatural phenomena. Despite these precautions, the Aurelian threat remains a constant concern for those involved with the Last Defense Initiative. As technology advances and the reach of government entities grows, the temptation to exploit such abilities only increases. And so the battle continues, a secret war waged against forces beyond our understanding, fought by men and women who carry the burden of an ancient legacy within their blood. As the world progressed into a new millennium, the Aurelian bloodline became less of a secret and more of an open conversation among certain circles. No longer confined to the shadows of government agencies or religious sects, it began to emerge as a topic of study for scientists, historians, and even the general public. One of the most intriguing theories about the Aurelians is their possible connection to ancient aliens. Some researchers suggest that the light-born beings mentioned in medieval texts could be extraterrestrial visitors who left behind a genetic marker in human DNA, which was then passed down through generations as an evolutionary adaptation. Others believe that the Aurelians are simply a result of selective breeding and genetic manipulation by various groups throughout history. This theory points to the Vatican's involvement in maintaining the bloodline over the centuries, using it to further their own political and religious agendas. Despite these theories, there remains much we don't know about the Aurelian lineage. Many descendants remain hidden from view, their identities shrouded in mystery and rumor. Some claim to possess incredible abilities such as telepathy or precognition. Others deny any connection to the bloodline altogether. In the end, the truth about the Aurelians may never be fully known. But one thing is certain: as long as there are those who seek power and control, the legacy of this ancient line will continue to captivate and terrify us in equal measure. In the present day, the Aurelian bloodline remains a subject of intense interest and speculation. While much of the information about its origins and abilities remain classified or shrouded in myth, there are those who believe that the lineage still poses a threat to global stability. One such concern is the potential for Aurelian descendants to be used as pawns in geopolitical gamesmanship. With their unique genetic makeup and potentially powerful abilities, they could be coerced or manipulated into serving the interests of certain governments or factions. Another worry is the possibility of Aurelians using their gifts for personal gain or even malevolent purposes. As seen in Project Lumen, these individuals can wield immense power over others, potentially leading to social unrest and conflict. Despite these risks, there are also those who believe that the Aurelian bloodline holds the key to humanity's evolutionary potential. They argue that if harnessed responsibly, the unique abilities of Aurelians could lead to breakthroughs in science, technology, and even spiritual understanding. Ultimately, the fate of the Aurelian bloodline lies in a delicate balance between preservation and protection. As we continue to learn more about this ancient lineage, it's crucial that we approach it with caution and respect, lest we unleash forces beyond our comprehension or control. The Aurelian bloodline remains a topic of fascination and speculation in modern times, as advancements in science and technology continue to uncover new information about its unique characteristics. While much of what is known about this ancient lineage remains shrouded in mystery, there are those who believe it may hold the key to humanity's evolutionary future. One area of research focuses on the potential for Aurelian descendants to possess enhanced cognitive abilities such as telepathy or precognition. These supernatural talents, if harnessed responsibly, could lead to breakthroughs in fields like artificial intelligence and neuroscience. However, there are also concerns that these abilities could be misused for personal gain or even geopolitical control. Another area of interest involves the Aurelian bloodline's possible connection to extraterrestrial life forms. Some researchers hypothesize that the light-born beings referenced in medieval texts may have been visitors from other worlds who left behind a genetic marker in human DNA. This theory, while still speculative, raises intriguing questions about our own origins and potential for interstellar contact. As we continue to explore the depths of the Aurelian bloodline, it's crucial that we approach this knowledge with caution and respect. The lineage carries a complex legacy, one that spans centuries and crosses multiple cultures and belief systems. By honoring its past while embracing its potential for the future, we can ensure that the Aurelian bloodline remains not only a source of fascination but also a catalyst for positive change in our world. The legacy of the Aurelian bloodline is one that continues to captivate and intrigue us today. While much remains unknown or shrouded in myth, there are clear indications that this ancient lineage possesses unique abilities and characteristics that set it apart from other human populations. One of the most significant aspects of the Aurelian legacy is its potential to serve as a bridge between different cultures and belief systems. Throughout history, the lineage has been associated with both religious fervor and scientific discovery, highlighting the interconnected nature of these seemingly disparate pursuits. As we move further into the 21st century, it's clear that the Aurelian bloodline will continue to shape our understanding of human potential and existence. Whether through advancements in technology or explorations of spirituality, this ancient lineage serves as a reminder of our own evolving nature and the boundless possibilities that lie ahead. Ultimately, the true legacy of the Aurelians may not be found in their supernatural abilities or extraterrestrial origins, but rather in their ability to inspire us to question our own assumptions and beliefs about who we are and what we're capable of becoming. The fascinating narrative surrounding the Aurelian bloodline has not gone unnoticed by popular culture, with references to it appearing in various forms of media throughout the years. Here are a few examples. In Dan Brown's best-selling novel Angels and Demons, the protagonist Robert Langdon discovers that the Illuminati, an ancient secret society, is using a candidate for the papacy who carries the Aurelian genetic marker as part of their plot to unleash a biological weapon. In the hit TV show Supernatural, two characters, Sam and Dean Winchester, are revealed to be descendants of an ancient line of hunters known as the Men of Letters. The family's bloodline is said to carry special abilities that allow them to fight against supernatural threats. In the video game franchise Assassin's Creed, players take on the role of assassins who belong to a secret society called the Assassins. Their enemies, the Templars, are also revealed to be searching for a hidden piece of technology known as the Apple of Eden, which is said to have been created by an advanced civilization that predates humanity. These fictional depictions highlight the enduring appeal and potential of the Aurelian bloodline narrative in captivating audiences around the world. As we continue to explore the depths of history and science, it's likely that this enigmatic story will continue to inspire new stories and discoveries for generations to come. What do you think about the Aurelian bloodline? Tell us in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more hidden histories.